Where to today, by you ask? I'll change these glasses because the ones I put on are tosh. Then I'll show you where we be to. We're at Polly Steps, folks. It's just after low tide, so I'm going to head downstream. I'm going to try and head out around, maybe out to the Ness, see what the wind's like out there, see what the surface state is like over there. See if I can show you the causeway I've mentioned before over by the Ness Hotel. And if there's too much chip and chop going on, I might just come in and do the merry-go-round. One thing's for sure, I could have sat at home and watched some old tosh on the television, but I thought I'd come here instead. And you don't even have to leave the television. I'm doing that so you don't have to. Anyway, let's get on the water. But today, folks, I'm not going to film anything on GoPros. It's just going to be cutting to me in a new location in 3, 2, 1. Here we are, folks. We are now out by, on the edge of the Salty. That's what this island's called, in the middle. It was once an island in the 70s or whatever. I seem to remember it being there, and a big storm came. It was like the big storm, and swept it away. But we're left with the remains of it. This boat here, probably recognise that, a lot of you from. That's from the Jaws. That's from Jaws 2. That's where Chief Brody and his pal, they headed out towards Cable Junction on that one. And I think you'll see that it's been kept, in a good state of repair since then. Whereas this boat over here, of course, that was the base boat in Nighthawk, which was a kind of sci-fi series in the 1980s. Of course, I might be talking a load of old tosh. It has happened before. It's beautiful out here, it's peaceful. You're picking your way through. So here, look, you can see this current's running through. If you're ever paddleboarding in areas like this, be mindful of the buoys of the nautical variety. A lot of people would say wear a quick release belt rather than an ankle leash, which is a good move. I think if you're wearing an ankle leash, I wouldn't wear a personal flotation device, because that might prevent you from getting down to releasing that leash. What we're all on about? What we're on about is ropes under the water, and if you fall one side and your paddleboard goes the other, you could end up in a right old pickle, I think it's the phrase. So you can kind of avoid that situation with a little bit of thought and a little bit of foresight and a little bit of planning, and think about where you're going, and don't ever get into a situation where you kind of react and you make the wrong decision. So think about your paddleboarding and you should be fine. People have accidents in these areas, but most people have a lot of fun. So there's gulls around me, there's a few sand eel in the water. I want to head on, as I said, is that ruddy exciting? Hey, you were going to get a cup of tea and now you're not. I'm going to transport further on to another location in 3, 2, 1. I nearly did that wrong, didn't I? Let's go. Back beach, folks. So, really cool, and tourists. Get the shelter from the wind here, which is nice. Lovely views across the estuary. But one thing that is pretty obvious as I work my way along here, this back eddy that I'm in, little gull there feeding, look, I'm just taking a crab. Everyone says that they, are vermin and all this sort of stuff, but they're opportunists. That's my view anyway. But as the current picks up and comes in quicker, the back eddy through this section goes out faster. So in a moment I'm going to hit some almost running water, and the wind is picking up as I go around the corner here. There'll be a few anglers to worry about, and then the ferry is over that way over there. So that's kind of, I'm going to sort of head out towards that yellow house in front of us called Bay Cottage. In fact, I might just stay on my knees for a minute, just head along and just see how this works. It's quite interesting, to see a tidal flow. And water conditions change, they can change rapidly when you're paddleboarding, and you can probably see out there, all of a sudden that water beyond a point starts racing along, doesn't it? So here we go now into this little bit of chop that's just generated by different volumes of water racing in different directions. And when you are paddling, if you suddenly go from, say, this area into this, you've just got to be on your toes a little bit, because all of a sudden your board will start to go that way. You might go over the top. You want to be well wide of boats and stuff. Make sure that you, like I say, de-risk the situation. Think about it. We're still just about moving here, so there's a chop on the surface. What's happening under the surface? I don't know. All I know is it's beautiful out here, folks. I'm going to take a photo or two and see you in another location in about 3 seconds from now. Here we are further out now, folks, so looking across towards Teignmouth Pier. The water out here, another strange phenomena. This is called the Jacobson phenomenon. Yes, it is, folks. What on earth is Jacobson phenomenon? You've got two types of water, ripples here, smooth there, two bodies of water passing each other like lovers in the night. That's right. Those bodies of water could be different due to speed of flow, depth of water, salinity levels, or temperature, amongst other things which I can't think of. But basically it means the water is like a bit bumpy in here and a bit flatter in there. That's what they say. Over here, you see that left of that lighthouse thing, that's the causeway. That's what I talk about. On the low tide, that causeway can be seen. So if you're coming out around here and those boulders, mind that causeway, and tip your hat to the Jacobson phenomenon. I'm going to go somewhere else in 3 seconds time. 1, 2, 3. Right, folks, so after going past the phenomenon of a Jacobson inclination, we're out now on the sea. Do you know, last year when I did the Head of the Dart, people were in the estuary there and they were saying to me, I can't handle it. There was a bit of boat chop, and they've been mainly paddleboarding on rivers, lakes and canals, flat water. As soon as you come onto the sea, you got that rock, that gentle roll underneath you. And it does take a little bit of getting used to. Now, I started paddleboarding on the sea, so it's not too difficult for me, but when you've got all nice and comfy and flat water and you come out here and then you're getting backwash coming off here, so you're getting these waves going both ways, it can just keep you on your toes. So up your skills, get on with it. I'm going to go for a swim. I'm kind of static now, in line with that. That there's what we call a pointy uppy thing. There's one of them up near Flow Point in the estuary. There's another pointy uppy thing. They call them because they point that way. So I'm going to go and have a quick splash and just get under the water a minute and see what it's like, because I've got to go in because it's July. And I've got to go in because it's July. So I'm going to go and have a dip. I'm then going to paddle maybe on a little bit further, or maybe back, whatever way, and see you in about 3. Cracking in the water, folks. Has to be done, doesn't it? Really nice. Past the pier now. Heading on towards Lido End. I don't know what they call it. It's a lovely shot, that, isn't it? Of Teignmouth. Beautiful evening. Saw one bloke with his family going in at Polly Steps. No one else. No one else on the water. A few anglers. And it's kind of more beautiful. Go, folks, let me just show you something here. Is that there? Say it out loud and proud, folks. That is what we in the trade call, it's a GDR, folks. No, it's not. GDR? What's that? GDR? It's GWR, Steve. What on earth? I'm out of practice, folks. GWR. I don't know what GDR is, but it's not one of them. Anyway. On we go. I'm going to get my shut-ups back on, as they say in Scotland, and warm up a little bit and carry on. I might go on a bit further. It's so nice out here. Bombing along now, folks. No paddling. You can just see as that little lighthouse gubbins, whatever it is, goes by. Smell some barbecues on the beach. And in a minute, we'll be turning in that way as the tide takes us in, and head back to Polly Step. So very great evening out here, folks. Lovely. On we go. Right folks, back at Polly Steps. So this is down by the docks. You probably knew that, at Teignmouth. As I've been saying, as I've been out tonight, it's been beautiful because there's a bit of warmth in the air tonight, a little bit of breeze in the air, but you've got this contrast in the colours, and I think the phone camera sometimes it picks up and over exaggerates it a bit, but I think it's pretty authentic tonight. There is really that contrast in those clouds. I can say all sorts, you don't know, do you? Get out this summer, make the most of it. Be careful when you're in estuaries, anywhere near boats, moorings, stuff. Saw kingfisher earlier folks, beauty it was. Only got a glimpse of it. Rattled along here, just following this little bit of coastline along, and I've seen them further up the river before, up the estuary. GWR going past there folks, absolute peach that one as well. That's an adult one I believe, it's bigger than the other ones. It might have been a sort of, you know, adolescent earlier. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Catch you guys on the paddleboarding, smaddleboarding flip side. I couldn't have said it better myself.